Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Elmer Brown Enriquez, your host of Artistic Visions, the show where we like to go in-depth with young artists at OCAD, talk about their art, what they like to talk about in their art, and what they would like to talk about in their art. Today, I got a very special guest for a special Grad episode, Zain.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, for the third time, more than anyone else. I'll say that for now.
Beat the record, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm setting the bar pretty high for you guys.
Yes. Someone has to break the record at some point, but Zain will hold it for a while. I'm doing good. How about you? You know, a little done after Grad X. This is like filmed a little bit after install day, right? So.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, things have been pretty hectic up until now, just getting ready for Grad X and yeah, preparing everything, making sure everything's good to go. But now we're in the lull period before opening night, which is... yeah, the big event.
You're in purgatory right now, just
yeah.
waiting for for all the people to come by and see your amazing work.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Let's just start off the interview for the people who don't know from the other two episodes. Who are you and what kind of art do you usually make?
My name is Zain. My majors at OCAD were photography and art for social change. But my work is pretty multidisciplinary. I work across a lot of different mediums, from sculpture to installation to video to printmaking. What I'm showing for Grad X is mostly a photo book, but I also did the design of the cover, and my display at OCAD is a bit of an installation. It's got a couple of different elements to it, not just the book.
Yeah, and let's talk about the Grad X installation. From what I remember and what I've seen, first of all, we have this book, which is amazing, lovely work, and let's just focus on this book for a second.
Sure.
What are we seeing when we get to see this book?
Yeah, well, the title of the book is When I Think of You, I Think of Us, a collection of portraits by Zain. It's a 7 by 7 inch little book, hardcover, 44 pages, over 50 portraits. The portraits in the photo book span between 2018 and 2024, so they've been taken over about a 6-year span. All of the portraits are featuring a lot of the people I've met over the last couple of years, primarily friends who are BIPOC, friends who are queer, friends who are trans, of a lot of the similar communities that I'm a part of.
Yeah, and let's talk about also the installation, because I think that ties in a lot to the environment and that ambience you want to create. So what are we seeing with that?
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of my installation work to date has been very immersive. I'm very much interested in the idea of people being invited into a space so that viewers go beyond just looking at your art up on a wall, but are actually participants in the space and are actively engaged by immersing themselves, by being a part of it, by being invited in to interact with the art. That is something that's super important to me with a lot of my work, especially work that's very personal and close to the heart. I like to have people, be invited into a deeply personal space of mine. For my installation for Grad X, I have the book that's on a shelf, mounted on the wall and chained to the shelf, as well as a carpet and a chair. And so I'm asking people to, if they are interested in looking at the book, to have a seat and be able to, take their time and sit with the book and look through it and not feel the hustle bustle of Grad X, but to have a moment to just, be anchored in that space and relax for a moment and have a place to sit amidst the chaos of opening night.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm very intrigued by, because of course with Grad X, it's all a gallery, and you just oh, okay, look at this work, and then onto the next. But I think with how you're approaching it, you approach it with this idea of look, I know this space can be pretty hectic, but take your time with this work, because it's an amazing photo book, because the fact that it spans 6 years of different works, you've done a lot of more, I feel it's all more on the fashion, but you have more conceptual as well. It with the conceptual, and it kind of starts meshing in the kind of the reality of natural photos that you've taken and those studio based photos.
Yeah.
So it kind of meshes them under oh, this is the Zain photography, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the photos in this book do range from, like you said, more natural light, outdoorsy type pictures to stuff that's a little more high stylized in studios using artificial lights. I think the thing that I was trying to connect all these images too, despite where they were taken or the style that they were taken in. Primarily the fact that they're all portraits, but also they share a sense of sentimentality and dreamy aesthetics and really heartfelt, warming imagery is what I was kind of going for. So despite, the difference in the settings that they were taken in or the difference in the subjects, that's kind of something that ties them all together, is that sentimental and dreamy aspect of the photography.
Yeah, no, I kind of was, when I was looking through it, it kind of, I felt like the common thing for me was also that intimacy. It's like you give us that window into seeing that person, who they are, and what their aesthetic might be, or what their kind of goals are, but within a photo, and really describes it. And I think that's really awesome.
Thank you.
And let's talk a little bit about the actual design of the book. What was the kind of idea behind designing it in this way?
Yeah, well, I kind of wanted to design it in a way that wouldn't really provide you with any context as to what was in it. Like, you have to really get into the book. It's small in size, and that kind of speaks to that personal and intimate nature that I'm going for. I felt like it wouldn't have the same impact if it was like a 12 by 12 like massive book, or if it was any smaller than this, it might have a different connotation. But I wanted to have something that was like kind of intimate and personal in feeling, and so the size kind of relates to that and doesn't really give you any context as to the content in it. So you do have to take a moment to sit with the book to actually get any sort of understanding of what's in it. And I mean, there's some text on it. On the back cover, I have the saying, "Hold me in your memory, I'll hold you in mine." And that kind of just speaks to, all these people I've met over the past couple of years who have allowed me to take their portrait and to be a part of this book. Yeah, it meant more to me than just, mere photographs or mere photo shoots, I should say. It was a moment to connect with people. It was an opportunity to build relationships and to manifest a greater connection than just a model and a photographer. And the people in this book are, more than just models to me or people that I've met through my photography. They're people who, have been with me through a lot of my career, and who we've collaborated with on many occasions, who we've supported each other in many different ways. And I kind of wanted the look of this book to not give that all away very evidently by the cover, but to sort of just be, like aesthetically, visually pleasing enough to interest you, but not enough to maybe reveal entirely what it's about.
100%. Yeah, because I was about I wanted to pry a little bit at the title, but I think, with you saying that, I kind of understand it more as this is, obviously a collection of your images, but these images are like, I'm basically paraphrasing what you're saying, but like that, it's the experience behind taking it, and the friendships, and I guess the real photography is the friendships we make along the way, kind of like that. But I really love that. And to touch back onto the kind of more installation based, I really like what you're doing there, because it's very reminiscent of what you were doing last semester with our last interview, actually, funnily enough. Where you're exploring that space and that environment to make people feel calm within, whether it's to interact with your piece or whether it's to just be able to talk with other people, you're still creating this space, and I found that really interesting, that you're really are meshing a lot of what you were, first of all, been doing for a while, and now you more recently started doing. Yeah, what was kind of your idea behind trying to do that installation again? Not again, but like in a similar vein.
Yeah, okay. I think the last time I did an interview with you, I was talking about To the Woman Who Came Before Me,
yes,
May We Meet Again.
That's the one.
And so that installation, I brought in all of the elements in that installation were items from my house. Either things that I had acquired, that had been passed down to me, that have been in my family for generations. They were all very personal items. And part of that was the rug. The rug that I invited people who came into the space to sit down on, to lie down on, to just immerse themselves by being invited to share this space with me through the rug. And in this installation, I have another rug, again, from my house. A different rug, but from my bedroom nonetheless. And the idea behind that is sort of in a similar vein, to invite people into this personal aspect of my life. Like, it's not a rug that I purchased for the purpose of, of GradX or for the purpose of the installation. Rather, something that's very, it lives in my bedroom. It's lived in my bedroom for years, and now I'm bringing that out into the open, and I'm allowing people to step on it, to sit on it, to share the space through this rug, and bring this element of my home, my life into the public. And I think that stuff like that is really important to me to maintain a sense of authenticity. And because of how deeply personal this book is to me, like I've mentioned, the size is like to emulate how special and intimate it is, and the aspect of the installation being like somewhere where you can sit down and look through it, because I want people to not be rushing through, but to have a moment to sit with it. And then to have that rug and the chair there, and similar elements to my last installation, just speaks to that idea of like wanting to bring people into a space that's deeply personal to me and reflect the inner workings of my life. Because this book isn't just people I've met and taken portraits of. They're like a part of my life.
Yeah.
And some of them like a very big part of my life and have been for several years. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, that rug is, I think I've seen some things, it's had a couple of beers spilt on it, if I remember.
Okay, Elmer just put me on the
So
spot.
that's how you guys know it's authentic, okay? Just look for the beers. No, I'm kidding. I'll take it out. Because everyone's going to be looking for that beer.
Oh my God.
No.
Should I gotta vacuum it?
Yeah, no, I totally, understand now. Like it's about the person. I almost said the personality, but like the personable aspect of it, I guess. Where.
Well, the rug has a personality too. I would say.
Course.
You're not wrong in saying that. It does have it does hold a personality of its
Yeah,
own.
that's true. Yeah, but like I think because it's you, not just showing pictures, it's you showing yourself, like showing your eye, almost. Showing kind of your story and showing it through other people, I guess. But it's still so much your personality through everything that's being shown, not just the photos, but the actual environment, right? So I really like that aspect a lot, and I'm excited to see it in person.
Thank you.
Which all you guys should be seeing it
absolutely
soon in person. Do you actually know which room you're going to be presenting this in?
Yeah, so I've installed. I'm good to go.
Yes.
I'm going to be on the second floor of 100 McCall Street. That's OCAD's main building. In Ada Slate, the hallway. So as soon as you go up the stairs and you turn right, you walk down that hallway towards the gallery. I'm right there on the right. You can't miss me.
Can't miss it.
Book's right there. You can't miss it.
If you see that book, it's Zain's work.
It's
okay?
Zain. Yes, plus I have a massive vinyl with my name right next to it.
Yeah.
So you see Zain on the wall, that's me.
Okay.
I'm Zain.
So you can't miss it at all.
You can't miss it. You can't miss it, and you shouldn't miss it.
And you shouldn't miss it. I would like to move on to my next question, however. Who or what kind of was the inspiration behind your thesis work?
Okay, so the inspiration behind my thesis work wasn't so much any one particular person, but the idea of representation in general. I mean, growing up and consuming a lot of mainstream media, I didn't really see a lot of people who look like myself. And I feel like most of the people that I've collaborated with in my photography can say the same. I've primarily worked with a lot of people within my communities, and that centers around, queer, trans, BIPOC individuals. And, representation is growing, and that's amazing to see. And, I'm all for it, and I'm a huge advocate for it, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. My focus with my photography has always been to, to centralize underrepresented groups of people. Because if there's no platform out there for us that exists currently, we got to make it for ourselves, And I feel like that about a lot of things, I have to rep for myself because no one else will. Like I have to support myself, I have to uplift myself, I have to encourage myself, because who else is going to do it if not me? And that's really how I feel about, these portraits that I take, is that, and the representation in the world is that if a platform for us doesn't exist, we need to establish one for ourselves. We need to take up the space ourselves.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, this way that you've approached it, I think is, it's a great time to, take that space for representing other people that, otherwise have not really been represented. Yes, we have a boom now in media where, yes, we are seeing more BIPOC, representation, but again, it's still missing. There's like actual issues. It doesn't just stop at being represented in a show. It's about the news outlets like not actually covering news that are centralized around BIPOC communities,
Right.
and so I think it's so important always to show different people, and you range from many different people, it's not even just like focused on their faces as well. It's focused on the bodies as well and who they are, and even some tattoo shots, like if I'm remembering correctly, and those like still tell a story about those people, right? So.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of like you mentioned, there is this wave of representation that's happening that's really wonderful and really great, but I feel like sometimes, it's not true to who people are. And a lot of times when it comes to representation, the type of representation that's provided for us or allowed for us is very limited in how we can represent ourselves. They want to tokenize us, but not to our true likeness, if that makes sense. Like there's the idea of wanting a diverse representation, but only if it fits a certain look or a certain category or a certain caliber of a finished look, of a nice, pristine, well-rounded people, and I want to capture people in their truest likeness. I want people to represent themselves as they are and as they feel. And so a lot of the times when I've collaborated with people, I don't do the styling. I don't I don't ask them to come looking any certain particular way. It's very much a collaborative experience. It's very much an experience in which I'm capturing people as they wish to be seen, not as I want to see them. Though it is through my lens and it is through my eye, how they are representing themselves is completely of their own autonomy. And that is really important to me about my work as well.
Yeah, no, I think the way of going about that, I think proves how much it's like, because if it wasn't collaboration, sure, then it's okay, then maybe it's hard. But because you're allowing these people to express themselves, you do give that platform, you do give that space to actually let them be themselves. So, and I think that is very important. You know what? I'm actually just gonna go to my next question. We'll throw it back a little bit to first year.
Yeah.
And like to ask you, how would you kind of compare your art from first year to now? I mean, which is kind of interesting because in this book you kind of see that whole range.
Of course.
But
yeah.
how would you compare it to how it's come to now?
You know what? I honestly feel like my eye for photography has been pretty consistent since I very first started. I feel like my compositions, my colors, my tones, a lot of that stuff has remained pretty consistent. What's changed is maybe my methods of photography or my approach to photography. I started, shooting digital with DSLRs and evolved into 35 millimeter film, worked my way up to medium and large format, and that's primarily what I work in now is medium and large format film photography. And so I feel like maybe aesthetics have changed and looks have changed, but my eye has sort of remained pretty consistent. And maybe I would say maybe the scale to which I'm working on has expanded a little, where, before, when I first started out in university, I was kind of just, in like back alleys with my friends, like had like a couple of minutes before we had to head somewhere, took a couple of quick shots, whereas I'm working on larger scale sets now, or putting together, bigger projects, bigger concepts than I had been when I first started, just because I have, I guess, I'm more well equipped to do stuff like that, or I feel more confident in my ability as well. My confidence has grown immensely since I first started. Whereas before I was kind of just taking photos for fun with my friends and seeing where that was going. Whereas now, I do have a renewed sense, or a new sense of faith in my practice and confidence in my practice to be able to pull off bigger scale projects, because that's the kind of work I want to be doing, and I know that I can do it.
It's actually really interesting when you look at the book, because you don't really give titles or dates, you just give the image, and I think that's what also impacts it so much, because I think you start reading much more about the image rather than, who is it, who is this by, what year. But I think the fact that there is no date, I think also adds on to that idea of like how consistent everything is, because you're right, like I could not tell you when it was taken. I could tell you the rough amount of maybe the time period, because I maybe remember seeing that at that time, but I still could not tell you like exact the dates. So I think the fact that it's like so consistent. So it leads me to believe that your whole photo collection very consistent, and it's all you. Like it, while also representing other people, it is still you and this collaboration between that person. With the collection of photos that you have in this book, you know, because of how consistent it is and how much it revolves around the collaboration aspect, it all meshes in completely well. Like, and while, you know, different colors and different, like, you know, ambience and environments, but it still has that Zain look to it. It's still this idea of like the representation is still there. And that's what's really exciting about that. Yeah, no, it's awesome to see like all the collection of everything from first year, well, past first year, right? So till now, and you know, it's only gonna go up from here because
Thank you.
That consistency, you know, and that confidence. That confidence is key, because how else are you gonna be able to like confidently go to someone and like talk, give your idea, allow them to give their idea, and then come to a conclusion? Because without that confidence, it's going to be like, are you sure? Because I think it's going to be like this. And so then it's, you know, a never ending battle. But
it's also not affirming to work with someone who doesn't feel confident in themselves, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, before this interview is over, I would like to ask one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
What kind of advice would you give to your first year self? All now knowing all the things you know.
Yes.
And now graduating from OCAD, what would you kind of say to your first year self?
I think in terms of my academic career, I would tell myself to explore as much as you possibly can. If I have any regrets about my academic endeavors at OCAD, it was that I didn't branch out enough with the kinds of courses I was taking. And, you know, I've learned a lot along the way, and I have really expanded what it is that I do. Like I mentioned, I dabble in a lot of different mediums, and that is thanks to the freedom that OCAD gave me to take so many different courses. I just still feel like I didn't do enough. I feel like I could have done more. Like, yeah, there's a lot that I really wanted to do that I didn't get a chance to. There's like metalworking, woodworking, rapid prototyping, plastics, like all different kinds of departments and things that I maybe touched upon but didn't get to explore as much as I could have. And OCAD was the best opportunity to do stuff like that, because all the services are provided to you and you have access to all of them should you take courses in them. So that is the one thing I guess I would tell myself in terms of my academic time, my time at OCAD to my former self, my first year self, was that reap all the benefits you possibly can of all the services that OCAD has to offer, and try to experiment as much as you can. That's not to say I didn't do any experimenting or that I didn't explore enough. I mean, I'm happy with what I did. I just feel like more could have been done.
Of course. I mean, when you look back on how much time has passed, of course you're like, well, I could have fit in another class about
exactly. But you always think that later, you know. In the moment, I felt like I didn't have enough time, or that I had to finish my requisites and, you know, get my degree and stuff. But I do wish I had taken, you know, just a couple of extra courses while I had the chance. But I mean, you live and you learn, and there's always opportunities to do other stuff. So hopefully there will be, you know, more endeavors out there where I get to experiment. And 100%. I guess another thing I would tell my first year self is just believe in your excellence. You know, I mean, that's not to say there's not room for growth or that there's not room to evolve and change. And I do feel like no matter how good you may think you are, or how good you like your work is in retrospect, there's always room for improvement. But believe in yourself and believe in your excellence. And I feel like my confidence has grown a lot over the years. I just wish I had started from a point where I was, you know, to begin with, had faith in myself, because I feel like I could have maybe been eons ahead of where I am now in terms of my confidence.
But yeah, that's totally fair. And, you know, but but you grew. You did get that growth, right?
Absolutely.
And you definitely earned it. And I'm really excited to see all that growth at GradX, all shown to the public. And the amazing, lovely book here that you can't miss.
Cannot miss.
Cannot miss.
You better not miss, is what we should say.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Zain, for your time. But before we do end off this episode, is there anything you'd like to plug, promote, or put out there for the world?
I'm so glad you asked. Yes, I would like to plug my Instagram is Zain Made. That's ZAIN Made, because I made it. Yes. My website is also zainmade.com. You can find that in the bio of my Instagram. And come to GradX because I'll be displaying When I Think of You, I Think of Us. I'm on the second floor, Ada Slate Gallery of 100 McCall Street. If you check out my installation, you can also find my business card. My business card on the back has my Instagram and my website. And I'll also be handing out a couple of stickers. So if you want a sticker, come check me.
Cute. Nice. So free stickers, free business cards.
Doesn't get better.
Book is not for taking.
No. The book is not free,
chained down for a
unfortunately.
reason.
Unfortunately, not free. But you can order one if you're interested.
Yeah, so if you are interested in a book, go to Zain's page. You can find more info on pre-ordering, I believe.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And get the book yourself if you're really interested.
Please buy my book.
Please do it. It's some amazing art in there.
Thank you.
But yes, thank you so much, Zain.
Thank you so much for having me, Elmer.
Of course.
Yeah. You're doing great work here.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's just sad. I'm losing the person I had the most on this show. It's so sad.
3 for 3.
3 for 3. Yes, it's been great. But I'm really excited to see what you do in the future. So.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I dare someone to beat me.
Yeah. And thank you so much to you guys for watching this episode of Artistic Visions. I cannot wait to see you guys very, very soon. Take it easy, and I hope you have a good day, week, or general weekend. Oh, I said that all in reverse, but it's okay. Take it easy, guys. Bye.